Welcome. It's great to have you all here with us. You know, in science, you need to be good with numbers, at least most branches of science. And I'm pretty good with numbers. I really like using spreadsheets to do calculations, make projections, but I'm maybe not as good with numbers as I thought. The other day, I called a restaurant to make a reservation. I told them, I want to make a reservation for 2. And the guy on the phone said, "You got the wrong number." I said, "Okay, well, can I make a reservation for 4? Didn't work out so good. But. Okay, a little bit of science news. Yesterday, NASA's X-59 QSST, that stands for Quiet Supersonic Technology jet, did its first test flight. This is a really exciting development for the supersonic industry. This jet is designed to be able to go past the speed of sound, and instead of making a really loud sonic boom, they say that it's supposed to make just a little sonic thump, no louder than slamming a car door. That's the goal. And so if this is successful, they're planning to do tests all around the country to be able to show that maybe we can lift the ban on supersonic transport over land, and this may be the inspiration for many other aircraft like it. This aircraft was designed and produced at Lockheed Martin, and they did this test flight from their Skunk Works facility in California. So pretty exciting development, and stay tuned for lots more of that research. Well, it's time to get it over to Dr. Joshua to learn how to study with Acellus Gold.
Do you have a superpower? I told my son his superpower is getting hungry immediately after eating. He said that my superpower is stating the obvious. Those aren't superpowers, but what if you could give your student a real superpower? One that is in explosive demand and pays double the average salary. Imagine this for a minute. There are 1.4 million unfilled tech jobs in the United States today, 1.4 million. And why? Because there aren't enough coders. It's amazing to realize 1.4 million. So coding is not just a job, but it's a high-paying career. In fact, on average, coders make 50 to 100% more than the average national income. And so if coding is such a great opportunity, why aren't there more people that do it? And it turns out it's a skill that has a steep learning curve and takes time to master. In fact, experts are saying coding is almost becoming a new form of literacy, one of those things that's really important like math or reading. And there is strong evidence that suggests that early exposure to coder in the elementary years significantly increases participation rates at the higher grade levels. In fact, according to Gallup, girls who are exposed to coding in elementary were 2 times more likely to show an interest in computer science by 8th grade. And students who were exposed to elementary coding also were 5.2 times more likely to take AP Computer Science in high school. And here's an interesting fact. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, students who receive coding instruction in elementary scored 12 points higher in math and 9 points higher in reading compared to those who didn't receive that instruction. So if this is so important, you would think that every school is teaching coding, right? But it turns out 79% of elementary schools in the United States don't offer any coding instruction at all. And even more surprising, 40% of high schools in the US don't teach coding either. And so this is a great need that the nation has. And if you haven't heard, Acellus has responded to this by creating a pathway of STEM courses designed to teach students how to code beginning as early as the 3rd grade. And in the first year, students learn to code by programming a robot named AccellusBot. And then in the second year, they use JavaScript to make the AC-D2 robot dance and move. One of the big barriers of learning how to code is memorizing syntax. And so these Acellus courses use a block coding interface where students can drag and drop interlocking blocks to learn about things like functions and logic and loops without having to get stuck on the memorization, and then later they can transition to that. And these courses are available, best of all, these courses are available to all Acela students at no cost. In fact, I'm very excited to announce that today we just released a new STEM course. This is a brand new version of our STEM 1 Introduction to Coding taught by Dr. John. And it's a wonderful course to get started with learning how to code. If you're not sure if coding is right for you, this course is a perfect way to dive in and see what it's all about. And it's not a course that's designed to just tinker. It really teaches you the skills that you would need if you're going to prepare for a career in the field. We had a student in Acela Academy that took all 3 of our coding courses in this pathway, and then he applied to University of Dallas to study computer science. And they accepted him, and as a freshman, they brought him in and they gave him a placement test to assess his coding skills. And he scored so high on the exam that they put him straight into upper division coding coursework. So it's a great opportunity to develop those skills. So what are you waiting for? Start your coding adventure today, and before you know it, you'll be coding your way to a super tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's time to get it over to Dr. John for the Technology Spotlight.
Did you know that it's possible to see with sound? Do you see what I'm saying? Think about it. Yeah, well, bats use echolocation. They send out little sound pulses, and that's how they can navigate, and so it's like they're seeing with sound. But we can see with sound with ultrasound machine, and we use these to make a sonogram, which is a picture based on sound. Here's a picture of a sonogram machine, and you can see it's kind of like a computer, and they use this at the doctor's office to examine inside because the sound is ultrasound, which means that it's higher frequency than we hear, and so it will penetrate through your skin and see what's inside. And so they can see if anything's broken or swollen or anything inside. And most famously, they use this to check on the baby during pregnancy to make sure everything's going well. Well, sonograms are really wonderful, but sometimes it's a little hard to see what's going on. Here's a picture that you might see from a sonogram, and it's a slice of what's going on in there. Well, some researchers in France have been working on the next generation sonogram. They call it 4D ultrasound. And 4D, you know what 3D is, right? That's where, three-dimensional. Well, the 4D is supposed to be time. The 4th dimension is time. So you've got 3D and time. And it's a pretty amazing thing that they've done. They have an array of 256 lenses that they use to construct the 3D image. And apparently they didn't have any participants that wanted to be the test subject, and so they used a pig. Here's the setup. So the pig took a nice little nap. They didn't hurt him. And then they used this new sonogram technology to image the pig's organs while it was living. And so they could see a lot more detail than what we're used to. Now, the one catch is they had to give him a shot. And they had to inject these little teeny tiny micro bubbles, which makes the image really, really amazing. Let me show you what they were able to do. Here is the kidney from the pig. And this is a 3D structure. And you can see all of those different vessels where the blood's flowing. But when we have blood flow, we have veins and arteries. We have the blood flowing from the heart, and then we have it flowing back to the heart or back to the lungs, right? And so with just this picture, you can't see that detail. But here comes the 4D part. I want to show you the same kidney, but now you can see the movement. And so they actually mapped out which way the blood was flowing, and each one of those dots is one of those micro bubbles. And you can see amazing detail down to 100 microns, which is like the thickness of a human hair, of the detail of the blood flow moving. This is way better, higher resolution than what we've had before of a living organ operating in its normal environment where we can actually see all that detail. And those little teeny microbubbles are really amazing technology because when the ultrasound hits them, the reflection off the bubble is 1,000 times stronger than the reflection off of the tissue inside of a person, or in this case, a pig. And that's because the little bubbles actually expand and contract with the sound wave hitting them, and that makes this big reflection. Let's look at another one. Here is the liver, and again, you can see the little teeny bubbles moving. So you can kind of see how the blood is flowing in and then out of the organ. And they say that this is going to really help researchers be able to study how this blood flow works in all these different systems. We got to watch one more. How about the heart? So there's the structure, and you can see they have the different colors, but really those colors are which way the bubbles were moving, right? Can you see all of that detail? And the researchers are just getting ready to go into clinical trials where they try it on people instead of just pigs, right? And they can image about 4 inches cubed, an area like that, all at once, 300 frames a second down to 100 microns accuracy. And so this is going to really help diagnose conditions that have to do with blood flow. And of course, help us be able to learn a lot more about how things work. Every time you get a more clear view of what's going on in the real world, then you can learn way more, and it's going to help us be able to really help people. So I guess it sounds like in the future we're going to see a lot better, or we're going to see a lot better with sound. That's all the tech we had the time for.
Now it's time for Breakthrough Moments in Science with Tobias.
You know, sometimes things don't turn out how we thought they were going to. Like the other day, my wife asked me if we could go to one of those restaurants where they fix the food right in front of you. So I took her to Subway. Anyway, no, but sometimes things don't turn out. We're going to talk about a breakthrough that was incredible, but it didn't turn out for years to be the breakthrough it would end up becoming until people caught the vision. Now, I'm talking about photography. Now, to some of you, that might be, oh yeah, photography, that's the thing on my phone. I pull out my phone and I take pictures of everything, everywhere, all the time, and then they just sit on my phone, right? Well, to some of us, we remember when photography was much more special, right? When you had a film camera and you had, what, like 24 or more or less, depending on the type of film, type of camera, and you were careful. You had to pick and choose. You know, if your wife was like, honey, there's a rainbow and a hawk and a big storm and deer, and no, I've only got one more. And you keep walking, you know, because you've got to save the one more, and then you take the last one. And then when you get them back, you find out that your finger was on the lens for the last one. That's how film was, okay? You only had a certain number of pictures. And then you didn't get to see what you got, right? Because you had to send that film in to get developed, and that could take days, maybe a week. And, you know, Snow White probably wasn't telling the dwarves about her prince. She was probably telling them about the photos that were coming. Someday my prince will come, right? But, yeah. But with photography, it was completely different than now. Okay, so we jump back to the 1970s when this gentleman, I love that. That's the 70s, folks. This gentleman was an electrical engineer, and he got a job at the photography company, Kodak. Now, what's an electrical engineer doing at this film company? And it turns out Kodak was looking at how can we integrate more electronics into our products. And of course, Kodak was the leader in film and being able to have cameras that had high quality prints. And so Steve Sasson, he said that he was one day at his job, and his boss came in and put something on his desk, and it wasn't very big. And he said, Steve, see what you can do with that. See if we can use this for something. And he looked at it, and it looked kind of like this. This is like a close-up view. Now, this is called a CCD, or a charge-coupled device. And it's basically a type of sensor that can sense light and turn it into digital signals. Okay, so it can sense the amount of light that's hitting it, and then it can send electrical signal based on the changes of the light it's sensing. Okay, so maybe it can sit somewhere, and if you cross it, maybe it can do something. That could be an idea. How could we use this new chip technology for a new product? So Steve was thinking about it, and then he thought, wow, what if we used this CCD? Because on that CCD that you see there, there's actually an array of sensors. It's not one sensor, it's actually an array. And on that array, there were actually 10,000 sensors, 100 across and 100 down. Sensors, little tiny sensors, pixels as we might know them now. And this would be like a 0.01 megapixel for reckoning of compared to today. But he thought, wow, so this is a flat array of sensors. And then he started thinking, whoa, what if it's good enough that I could actually focus an image on it and capture a picture digitally? Now that seemed pretty exciting to him. So he had zero budget. So he said he went to the spare parts room at Kodak. Sounds like a pretty fun room. He went in there and he was looking around. He got this camera that was back there. And he took this camera, and his plan was to take it apart and use that lens system, remove the film. Remember, the way cameras would work is you had a lens that would capture the light coming in from the world around, and it would focus it onto a flat plane where the film would be. And then the film would get exposed, and that's how you capture your picture. So his plan was to have the lens that focuses it onto the flat plane, but then to replace the film with this CCD. And hopefully, maybe, he would be able to get an image. So he starts working on that, and he actually got a system, and basically he made a box with a stack of different circuit boards with all the parts that would be required, because he wanted something you could actually carry, a camera that you could carry that was digital. And up to that point, anyone who had tried anything like this, it was like this huge system of all these different boxes. So he had this box with these circuit boards in there. He had the camera lens on the front. He needed a way, though, to save the information because he didn't have film. So how are you going to say? He couldn't go to Walmart and get an SD card, okay? So how is he going to save it? He had some memory on one of his circuit boards that would save the digital information. But the moment that it lost power, the memory, it was temporary. So it would lose all that data. So we needed a permanent storage system. And the only one that was in the spare room was a cassette tape system. So this was going to put the images onto a cassette tape. And so on the side of it, he had a cassette tape. And here is what he put together. So you can see the camera lens on the front. You can see there's the cassette tape on the side that's actually going to load, hopefully, the pictures. It weighed over 8 pounds in all. It had 16 AA batteries because you want it to be portable, right? And he called it a heavy toaster is basically what it looked like. And this, as he started testing it, he didn't have a laptop he could plug it into and see how it worked. He had to create everything for it. So as he starts to test it, the way he would test if it was actually getting anything is he would hook it up, he said, to an oscilloscope or a voltmeter, and then he'd like wave his hand in front of the lens and see if it was actually picking up a change in charge and electrical signal. And that's how he would test it. So they did a lot of testing like that, him and one other guy. Finally, they got to the point where they thought they had the whole system set up enough. It's time to try it for real. This is a big moment, right? You can't take a picture of a wall. You want something with detail. So they decided to go to the room down the hall where a lady was working for Kodak named Joy. And here she is. This is not the picture they took, but there she is. And they convinced her, you could be in history. if you'll come sit in this chair and let us take your picture. So she agreed finally. So she came, she sat down, they set up the camera, they got the cassette tape in, they took the picture. It took 23 seconds, not to take the picture, but to load the picture onto the cassette tape. And then they took the cassette tape out, and they had to go to a system that they had created, put together for the cassette tape to display it. So here's their cassette tape display system, and it took 23 seconds to get it off the cassette tape, and they finally got to the point where they were ready to load the image. They loaded the image, and what do you know? There well, it was more like the silhouette. There was the white wall behind her, and you could see her outline like a silhouette. And they rejoiced. Well, the two guys did. She was like, he said, she looked at it, said, needs work, and left. That was pretty much her reaction. But they were so ecstatic because it actually sort of worked. Now, they were hoping it was going to work a lot better. Well, Steve said he went through each step, and they realized that something deep in the binary of their system, they found one wire that was connected wrong. When he took the wire and flipped it and plugged it back in, the way they describe it is all of the whites and the true blacks were loaded, but all of the colors in between were scrambled because of that one wire. And so when he flipped it and put it back in, it loaded, and you could actually see it clearly, and it looked incredible. I mean, as incredible as 0.01 megapixels can, but they were so excited. And they took this, now obviously it needed a lot of work, and they worked on it more. Here's a picture that they did take. So on that screen, that's a picture of the picture of the boy and the dog, but that's a picture that he took with the digital camera system. And so they ended up taking this, and they told their bosses at Kodak about this, and this is like in the 1970s. And, you know, these are the world leaders in film, and this could be a replacement for what we do. So maybe it makes sense that some of the Kodak leaders are like, I mean, that's kind of fun. Let's put it away. So they put it away, and they put the whole system in storage. And it wouldn't be until about 2004 that Kodak would be like, wait a minute. We were first, and they got it out, and they said, Steve's our hero, what a guy. And they, he became the world's, hero of digital photography that he had done right there, but it took so long for the technology to catch up, or for the vision to catch on. But Steve Sasson is still kind of held as the guy that started it all, where he had this little chip put on his desk, and his assignment was to figure out what we can do with it. So if you get a good idea, if you make a breakthrough and the world doesn't get the vision, make sure you learn how to be an Inventioneer too. Thank you.
Well, it's time for me to introduce the father of hydrogen technology, Dr. Roger Billings. A minute ago, I mentioned some of the latest work that's coming out of the Skunk Works and the research that they're doing there. Well, one of the original founders of the team that helped found the Skunk Works was a guy named Willis Hawkins. And as some of you know, he helped develop several of the really important aircraft and technology, and even the Abrams tank later on for the U.S. Army. And a few years later, he met someone named Dr. Roger Billings, and they, with two other gentlemen, founded the International Academy of Science, that is the organization that created Acellus. So it's pretty exciting how that all came together. Please welcome Dr. Roger Billings.
So there you have it.
There you have it.
That is a neat airplane.
Isn't it though?
Mm-hmm.
It's just
I wonder how fast it can go. It looks fast.
It looks amazing.
I went through the Skunk Works with Willis.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was a skunk.
You went with Willis.
Yeah. Remember the Skunk Works is where they made the U-2,
Yeah.
the spy plane, and then
Yes.
they made the SR-71, the Blackbird.
Uh-huh.
And we wanted to convert an airplane to liquid hydrogen.
Okay.
And we wanted to put a heat exchanger on the leading edge of the wings so we get rid of drag. And so he took me there because they were building the SR-71. They had them all different stages. And we were looking at how we were going to put the parts in there. We could see inside without tearing it apart.
I didn't realize it was there.
I had to get clearance.
You obviously passed.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, we have some exciting news going on here at Acellus. A lot of people would be excited to know that one of our favorite all-time teachers, Dr. Todd Edmond, is here filming his next course.
That's one I want to take.
Yeah, and this is a course that, well, he's been wanting to film this for years and years and years. Been saying, we need to film this course. And I said, we can't. If we film a course about conspiracy theories, we're going to be chased out of education. He says, no, 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 no. So last year, those of you that were here at Acellus World went to his session. So we have, right here at the Acellus Conference Center, we have this auditorium that can seat about 1,500 people, just over. And down the hall, we have breakout rooms, and the biggest room will seat 200. And so we gave him the big room because we thought, you know, he may have a lot of people, and he was going to kind of test his idea on this conspiracy theory. And they jammed up all the hallways and everything. We had to move his lecture here into the big hall. And anyway, so he's here filming that course because so many people were interested. After Acellus World, we decided to let him do it, finally.
Okay.
And so when I knew he was down there filming, I thought, we should go spy on him. I think a lot of people would like to spy on how this course is coming. So come on with me, let's go take a look.
Okay.
So when you're looking at the lost colony of Roanoke and you really want to know the answer to the mystery that...
Am I interrupting?
Hi, Dr. Billings.
Hi, how are you doing? So is this it? Is this the class?
This is the class.
Tell us about it. What do we
Well, this is the class that I've been wanting to film for over 10 years.
This is the one where you're paying us to film it?
I think
right?
so. Yeah, I think that's how it's working, yeah. And this is conspiracies, myths, and mysteries of history. And this is something that I can't wipe the smile off my face because I finally get to dive into the mysteries of our past. And
So do we get credit for this?
yes.
This is a history class.
History class. and I am all about analyzing, interpreting, and coming up with your own conclusions and your own thoughts behind things, and how do you actually do that historically, and that's all going to be part of this.
I noticed when you came to Acellus World last year and you told these big stories and you got people really interested.
Yeah.
And you said you wouldn't tell them what your theory is. So I think we should invite him back next year. This would be like on May 23rd, Acellus World 2026, and do the second edition. You know, last time we made the mistake of putting him in the big breakout room. And we had people lined up blocking the lobby. So we had to move it over into the big auditorium. This time, I'm going to see if we can fill the big auditorium. So you guys that are planning to come, mark your calendars, May 23rd, Kansas City, Acellus World, the next edition.
Conspiracy
and this time,
theories too.
maybe we can get him to actually tell us his side of the story, okay? Now, you need to know this. He kind of, when he was giving his big lecture at Acellus World Live to all you students who were here, he kind of teased that he wanted to make a class out of it. He's been working on that for 5 years?
Oh, longer than that.
Longer than that? Yeah. And finally, you know, so here it is. He's filming the course. It'll be out by when?
Hopefully as soon as possible.
Hopefully as soon as
We're
possible.
ripping through this, yeah.
So it'll be a little while because it takes time after the filming's done to
Right.
get all edited and everything, but it's going to be a really exciting course. So I want to just show you a clip from the last Acellus World where he was kind of hinting we ought to have this course. Roll the clip.
So first of all, the whole thing of conspiracy theories, whether you are a conspiracy person or not, whether you buy into it or not, why does this stuff start in the first place? And it usually starts with some sort of doubt about whatever the official story is, especially if there is some crack in the story that somebody figures out. Think of trust, like trust with people. And in that one thing, even if it's small, once it's there, then people start diving more and more into it. We're not going to talk about all of these. Sorry, I don't have enough time. My youngest daughter, when she heard I was doing this, conspiracy theories, she said, "How much time are they giving you?" And I said, 45 to 50 minutes. And she literally went, "Dad, that's not enough." And I went, "I know. Definitely could do a course, though." Been plugging that for a while.
And so, don't you? There's one other thing you said last time that I would like to take advantage of. A lot of students want to know about R51, Area 51. What's that all about? And Area 51 is my little gadget room where I do my tinkering and research. But you did a real nice explanation about the history of the real Area 51. Mm-hmm. Can we show that real quick?
Sure.
Okay, roll that clip.
Area 51 out in Nevada. What is it and why is it so secretive? They build this base out in the middle of nowhere in Nevada, and the government denies it exists. So again, why do conspiracy theories begin? Well, you've got a base. We know it's there. Why are you saying it's not there? Until we're allowed to go in then and actually see it, or allow a film crew in there. Tobias, where are you again?
Great. Thank you for all you're
Thank
doing.
you.
And
Thank
by the
you.
way, can you tell? This is the new improved doctor version of Dr. Todd Edmond. It's so good to have him here. We'll carry on. These guys are waiting for this class.
All right. I'll get to it.
All right. Bye-bye. Hey, for him.
Oh, there he is.
That guy is making historians of us all.
Mm-hmm. He does look new and improved,
really
doesn't he?
like it. He's great. And it's a great course, and it counts for credit.
Yes, I think that's
School should be fun, shouldn't it?
It should be fun.
Yeah.
Should be
Okay,
very
good.
fun.
Now, we're going to change the subject real quick, because today we need to talk about inventioneering and inventing, because the Inventioneering fair is coming up for 2026, and you need to start thinking about your inventions. Today, I would like to empower you to become an inventioneer. I'd like to show you that you can do this. Now, we talked earlier about superpowers, and I believe every person that I've ever met has a superpower. A lot of people haven't discovered their superpower yet because they're not looking for them. But there's something that you're really good at, and you need to find it. For some people, it's inventing. For other people, it might be music. We have Acela students that are in ballet and opera in New York City. We have the Star Wars lead actress in Acela. We have Mahomes' nephew, an Acela. And his superpower may not be learning about history, even though it will be with Todd. Maybe he can throw a ball in a way that defies all of physics, but whatever your superpower is, you need to find it. But now here's an interesting point. The scientific method is a tool that anyone can use, even if it's not your superpower. And so I want to kind of change your horizons, at least some of you, about how this works. We've said before, and it's been said for a long time, that a problem is the mother of an invention. You've got a problem to solve, and so you apply your invention skills to find solutions. And some people say, well, if I was just a college graduate. No, this goes clear back to middle school, high school, sometimes even elementary school. So let's see how it works. Let's take a problem. I'd like to choose for this discussion the problem of your bedroom?
That's a little personal, isn't it?
That is very personal.
Okay.
But we're looking for superpowers here, so we
Okay,
have to go
okay.
for it. So how effective is your bedroom at making you be successful in life? Your bedroom is a place that you spend a significant part of your day. Is it lifting you up as much as it can? And so you say, okay, that's a problem. I'm going to see what could be done to my bedroom to make me a better person.
Okay.
Seems like a good problem to me. So you go in and you look at it, and you say, well, for one thing, I'm not very organized. And so you decide to find a little place where you can sit and write, and you say, I'm going to get not just a piece of paper, not a scrap, I'm going to get a real nice little notebook that I can write my thoughts in. And I'm going to get a pen or pencil that I like to write with. Now, for some reason, my best ideas come out of pencils and not out of pens.
Interesting.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know.
Well, because I can erase the pencil. Okay, and quite often ideas evolve. And I always buy a real good mechanical pen with a really good eraser. And so I start drawing my little design. If you have a notebook, and if you're proud of it, and if you say, every page I put in this notebook is going to stay, and you should put the date on it, the date that you write in it, you should put it there. Some scientists have made little notebook entries with a date, and later on, their invention became a great patent, and there was a legal battle to find out who actually invented it first. And you pull up that notebook and you say, hey, I had it on March 7th of 1901.
That was a while ago.
I was just a kid. Anyway, so when you put it in a notebook and you say, I'm going to keep this is going to be something of my best ideas and some of my not so best ideas, you write it neater. You make it more complete. It helps you clean, tidy in your thinking. A clean, tidy room inspires creativity, inspires you doing your best. And so if you take on the problem of your room and say, how could I invent a better environment than the one I have for me to live a better life, now you're using Inventioneering to change the world. So you can start very, very simple and very small. But that's really how Inventioneering is. So many people don't ever do that because they don't take time to stop and say, okay, well, what's wrong with my room? There's nothing wrong with my room. It's fine. But how could it be better? Well, what if you could really do something to your room to make your output, your contribution to this planet more significant? Wouldn't it be worth it?
It would
And
be.
so once you identify, well, the problem is I'm not going to achieve my full potential because my room is lacking a nice notebook, a pencil, a tidy place to work. A junky room is hard to be inspired. And even if you only have one little counter or table or desk, or you have to make a box, whatever you have to do, make it neat and tidy. Make it so that it inspires you, and it'll make a difference. So that kind of is starting out at a most basic level. Now I want to take you to the next level. When I was in radio, I was very fortunate to get a job at the radio station, and I was even more fortunate to become, after 1 year, the program manager. The program manager meant I was in charge of everything we were going to broadcast on the air. It was my job to figure out what to broadcast that would make people listen. Because in radio, how valuable your commercials are, how much you can sell them for, depends on how many people are listening. And they've got other stations they can tune to. Why are they going to tune to yours? And so I'm sitting here thinking about reasons. Why are they going to tune to me? Why are they going to turn to me? And that was my problem. How to get people to listen to my radio. And I had to invent ideas and ways to do that. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm, you are.
Okay, so I'd like now to suggest this. I want to challenge you every one of you students, I want to challenge you to invent a very clever t-shirt.
Okay.
A t-shirt, what it's going to say on it. And let me explain this a little bit. So the problem is, you know, how much money do you have? Well, she's got more than I do.
Yeah.
But don't.
Do we know that?
Yeah, we know that. Yes. We all know that.
Oh, we all
She's
know
loaded. Anyway, when I was the program manager at the radio station, I was trying to sell commercials, and I'd go into these businesses and I'd say, hey, would you like to buy some radio? We call them spots on the radio. 30-second spot, 60-second spot. We'll tell your message for 30 seconds. Would you like to buy some of those? And they'd say, we can't really afford it. You know, we're operating on a very tight budget. We can't afford to advertise on the radio. And my line was, advertising on the radio doesn't cost, it pays.
Is it true?
And I sold ads with that line. That was good. But then I had to get an audience so that when they ran their ads, they actually got sales. If I could make them more money than my commercials cost, they would keep buying ads.
That's true.
And that's the challenge of it. Well, let's come back into these t-shirts for a minute. So there is a tuition associated with Celis Academy, but the Celis Academy should give you knowledge that would be more valuable than the cost, right? So here's an idea. What if you design a t-shirt that is so clever and so unique that people want it? Then that t-shirt would sell, right? And so the problem is coming up with a t-shirt that is clever enough that someone would want to buy it. Now I'm going to show you in a few minutes where you actually could generate some cash by coming up with a good idea. But first I want to show you some shirts. Let's take a look at this t-shirt. Okay, can you read what it says there? I absolutely can't. It's way too big. But it says, never, you read it while I find my glasses.
Never trust an atom. They make up everything.
Never.
It's true. Never trust an
That's
atom.
clever, isn't it?
It is.
Never trust an atom. They make up everything. Let's try another one. I got glasses now so I can see it. Cinnamon rolls, just like Grandma used to make.
That's
Just like
clever.
Grandma.
That's
So
very clever.
someone made this up. Now these are popular shirts on Amazon, okay? Someone came up with these clever things and they were able to put them on Amazon. There is a program in Amazon that if you can create a clever shirt and you send it to them, they will make the shirts, they will advertise it, and every time someone buys one of those, Amazon will send you money.
Okay.
You can make more money than your tuition. Celis doesn't cost, it pays.
Is that what we're getting at?
Okay. So, and you know, some of my favorites are these shirts that get very clever and get into science. Let's look at another one. Okay. This one is, this is a physics shirt. May the force be with you. And force is F equals M over the derivative of velocity over time. This is for calculus students and physics students, physics majors. But boy, in the physics department of college, this would sell.
Yep.
Every physics kid would buy this. Let's look at another one. I can't see with that on. 50% air, 50% water. Technically, the glass is completely full. Clever.
It's very
and
clever.
somebody would buy it. Somebody does buy it. Let's try another one. Okay, this one. What do you call an acid with an attitude? Amino acid. Amino acid. Oh, I get it.
The mean old acid.
Amino acid. Okay, let's try another one. See how clever someone is? Okay, here's a science one. I think you're overreacting. Chemistry.
That's a social
How about
emotional
another
one right there.
Social emotional one right there. This is a good one. Yeah. Just believe in yourself. when no one else does. Yeah. How about another one? These are really kind of fun, aren't they? Okay, this one says, think outside. And what does that say right there?
That's really little and light. I can't read it.
No box is necessary. You know, they always say, think outside the box. You don't even need a box. Just think outside. All right, one more, and then we'll quit. Okay, we got to do two more because I got to show this. You decide. Is it smiley face or frowny face? It's up to you.
Yeah.
What kind of day you're going to have. Some clever person is making money for putting dots and a squish on a shirt.
Squish.
Just think of that. All right, let's do one
Dots
more.
and a squish.
Do one more. Okay, I like this one. No words at all, just a picture. You notice the Titanic in the background? And there he is. And whoa, look at that. Okay, so can you come up with something clever enough that when someone says, I gotta have that? If you can, there is some money to be made. Now, some of you have noticed that on the Science Live webpage today, we have a new little thing there so you can upload a photograph. And we put that there so you can upload your idea for a shirt.
Okay.
And we hope to get a lot of shirt ideas invented by you inventors, Inventioneers. The best shirts, we're going to actually make up the shirt and send it to you. So if you get a shirt that is chosen, we will make it and we will send it to you. We'll also put it in the store and see how well your shirt is selected by other people that are spending their gold. If you get a shirt that does well, we will issue you a certificate of success reporting how successful you were. And that's where it gets real interesting, because with something showing that you can design really clever shirts, you can submit that to the website of Amazon, and they will create your shirts, and you will get a cha-chung. That's a coin dropping in a cash box. Cha-chung every time. Well, you can sit here watching Science Live, and you keep hearing your phone go cha-chung, oh, cha-chung, cha-chung, cha-chung. Science Live doesn't cost.
It pays.
It pays.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So what do you think about that?
They are very excited. I'm reading all the comments they can read, actually, so you don't need me anymore, do you?
Well, you can make an invention then with a problem, and the problem is you want to make some money, and so you invent a clever idea to go on a shirt. You can start simple with things like this. Of course, maybe you should start first with inventing a way to make your room more creative so that you're inspired to write a good shirt. And by the time we're done, you're going to be winning the Invention Fair in the spring. And people say, yeah, but I don't know how to make a supersonic airplane.
Well, they're getting lots of
And a little
ideas.
kid in the back, I know how. Elon, be quiet. And he does.
Have fun.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Everybody's getting excited about this. If you have questions, shoot them in, Paige. Find them for us. But we do have a question coming in from our friend in Area 51.
Okay.
Well, hello, guys. Welcome to Area 51. I am your very own R51, and I'm here to tell you that I was the guy, not to brag, but I was the guy that invented Pumpkin Day. Yeah, you know, Pumpkin Day comes every year, and it's a day dedicated to pumpkins, and I invented it.
R51, you did not invent Pumpkin Day. It's called Halloween, and it has nothing to do with you.
Well, I made it better, because before me, Pumpkin Day was just Pumpkin Day. And then I said, oh, you cute little pumpkin, you need to be special. You need to have something so that you would be really special and the children would really enjoy you. And so that's why I invented this. Watch what I invented. See this? Can you see this? It looks like nothing, but poof. Look at that. And you put it right on little pumpkin's head like, oh, isn't I invented this. This is Pumpkin Day with a hat. Invented by R51. What are you saying? Oh, it's you again.
Oh.
I was saying I invented this wonderful decoration for Pumpkin Day. 51. You did not invent Pumpkin Day. If you want to invent something, you have to have a problem, and you have to be solving a problem, okay? Well, I can do that. Mr. Pumpkin, you sit right here, and you can have your nice little hat that I invented for you. He doesn't know. Okay, so I need a problem. I'm going to invent something. I don't remember, but I think I invented this. This is a notebook, and I know I invented the pencil. But now I'm going to come up with a problem to solve. Hello, Mr. R, Mr. Big R, could you help me out for just a minute?
What do you want?
Well, I just wondered if you could kind of help me come up with a problem so that I would be able to invent something. Show the kids how to do inventions.
Well, R, when you solve a problem, it should be a problem that really means a lot to you. It should be the kind of a problem that you're passionate about. And when you solve it, your life, your world is going to be better. That's the kind of problem that you need. Now go for it.
Okay. Whoa, he really puts the hydrogen right in your heart, doesn't he? That's why they call him Dr. Hydrogen. Oh, he's so lucky that I'm here to do his inventing. So I got this blank piece of paper, and I need a problem. What are the problems that really, really, really cause difficulty for me? Well, problem number one, sometimes, oh, if I were honest, sometimes here in Area 51 it gets kind of lonely. That's a problem I could solve, an invention too. I've got Lady Poget, but you know what, she's so sweet. She's so sweet, she never says anything anymore. Well, I sure like her, but what if I could solve a problem making it not be so lonely? Oh, I know another problem. This is a big problem for me. I've got all these brains, but I don't have any money. I need money. Maybe I will go to the magic box. Here it is. This box is very helpful when you're looking for turn it right side up. Look, just in time. This is the just in time box. And just in time, it's going to help me come up with a problem solved. I need money. Whoa, thank you. Let me just show you. This is my piggy bank, and I call him Little Dinosaur Piggy. And here he is, and look, inside the bank, see all that money? There's no money there. And so could everybody just please send me some money so I can put it in my bank?
R51, we do not beg for money on this program.
Oh, I know that. I was just kidding. I am going to invent a way to make money for me and for all the kids because I have an idea. Did you know that you can invent a t-shirt? And if your t-shirt is really good, it can make money for you. And so I'm just going to say it's got to have a neck, it's got to have sleeves, sleeve and shirt, got to have a shirt like this. But it's got to say something that will make everybody want to wear it. And so it'll make you a lot of money because you're going to invent the right words to say on here. Now, I think we should put a really nice picture on this t-shirt. Oh, maybe a picture of Paige, but we'd have to get her permission. I know, we could put a picture of me next to her. I'm not the same, but you know, I'm second best out of everybody in this place. So put my picture right here on the shirt, and then it needs to say a message. It needs to be a message. Well, let me do a little fixing. And through the magic of AI, I have now printed the shirt. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see the shirt I invented? Here it is. Take a look at that. And it has a message that says, incredible opportunity. Oh, become a living resident of Area 51. Guys, can you hear it? It's an opportunity to move into Area 51 with Lady Paget and me, and we could be right here together. Oh, kids are lined up for sure. Look, here comes the first money. Oh, the monies are coming in. We're getting really good. Look at all those monies coming in. We're going to be so rich. Look at it.
Okay.
Oh, my problem is being solved, and the money is coming in. So kids, I just want to say, don't invent the shirt. Don't just invent the shirt. Be the shirt. I got lots of money. Go spend it.
Why?
I don't know about that guy.
I don't know about that guy either. At all.
But he is right about one thing.
Oh, yes?
If he can invent it,
That's true.
any of you can invent
That's
it. That's
true.
for sure.
That's true.
So let's see your best ideas. And remember, your first idea quite often isn't your best. You need to try it and try it. Get a notebook with lots of pages and show your ideas to your friends, to your family, until you find something that's really good. Then send it in. And you can send in as many ideas as you want. Just keep uploading them, and we'll be looking at them. And we're looking for the guys that have shirts we're going to select, and then we're going to print them and send them to you. We'll put them in the store to see if the other students like them. And if they do, you'll get a certificate, and we'll give you instructions on how you can go to Amazon. And if you get enrolled in that program, and if you can make a shirt that sells, you'll have cha-chung, cha-chung, cha-chung. And soon you'll have your own laboratory with your own Area 51
Oh, wow.
and your own
Yeah, no.
U51. Okay.
Okay, we have a question.
Question?
Did you, this, Joseph wants to know, did you coin the word inventioneer?
Did I coin it?
Yeah, did you coin it? Did you make it up?
We did it
did you
together.
invent it?
You know we did.
I do know that.
She's
but
being modest. We
he
did it
asked
together.
if you did it.
No, it was a team effort. In other words,
It kind of was,
she
but-
came up with the idea, I took the credit.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. See you
you-
next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So funny.